This screencast is for Maddie. Hi, Maddie. So here is what we're going to do. I'm going to walk through your essay, and I'm going to talk to you about these comments that I've made down the side. So number one, I want to tell you did a nice job with your essay. I think you have some really solid ideas, but I'd like you to tweak a few things for me, okay? So the first thing I'd like you to tweak for me is, and if you click on the little comments on the side, it'll kind of highlight on the screen and then put up a little box around the comment that it's referring to, is to make sure that you don't start your essay with a quote from a source you're going to be citing later. You don't do that. It's kind of like wearing white to someone else's wedding. Okay, I think I've said that before in class. You don't want to give away the goods before you make your points. So if you're going to use a quote, you would want to use a quote from quotegarden.com or, some philosophical website. You don't want to use a quote from a source that you're going to be citing later. Okay, especially if you say, if it's perfect, it's a perfect example, then you should use it later in your essay. It shouldn't come right at the beginning and hit your reader in the face quite like that. Okay, so there's your first one. The second comment I have for you is, where did this one go? Oh, there it is. Okay, so your thesis statement. I'd like you to read that out loud. I'm going to read it to you, and I want you to think about if it sounds right. Irrational decisions can make decision-making go by very quickly, and they can even change your life. The part that I have a problem with is the irrational decisions can make decision-making go by very quickly. I've got the word decision in there a couple times, and I don't know that decision-making here is the best way to say that. I think we just need to reword, think of a different way here. Also, you're going to want to mind the second person pronoun here. Remember, those are no. You got a few of them, so make sure you take them out all the way down. The next bit I'm going to tell you, you have another little piece here, and the individuals and the two pieces of text are not the best things they have ever done. The individuals are not the best things they have ever done, and can cause them to get into trouble. I think maybe you skipped a word, or you didn't mean to put the individuals, or something. I feel like something is missing from this topic sentence, and that makes it a little bit vague. Okay, so we need to go back and look at that. My next comment, your long quotes. Okay, long quotes get special treatment. Okay, and you didn't know, and that's okay. But a long quote is something that we designate as something as 4 or more lines in your essay. So you can see that you have 4 plus a little bit. So what you would do with that is, and I'm going to fix it for the first one, and you're going to remember it. Okay, so that every time you use it, or use a quote that's longer than 4 lines from now on, you're going to remember it goes like this. So you set it off from the paragraph, and it doesn't get quotation marks. Okay, I know that's a little bit weird. Okay, you set it off. So this is me setting it off from the paragraph. And you will want to move it over to the right just by using, it's an indentation button, but you can't hit tab, because if you hit tab, it'll delete it. You don't want to do that. So you'll want to find the button that looks like this. It's got the little blue arrow pointing to the right. We scooch it over. Okay, so now it's completely set off from the rest of your paragraph. And since you don't open with a quotation, you don't close with a quotation. And if you don't have a quotation, you move the period up. So I know it looks a little bit weird, and I know that's not what we talked about in class, but this is a long quote, and they're just a little bit different. So each time you have a long quote, just remember, you get set off, you don't use quotation marks, and you move that period right on up. Okay? Then when you explain your quote, notice I'm not going to move that over. Okay, I'm going to leave that flush against that left margin right there. Okay, so you still leave your explanation right after it, but you don't indent it. It's not its own new paragraph. So you leave it right there against the edge. The next piece I see is, I don't know why these are out of order. I don't like that. Okay, the next thing that I see is that you're talking in ifs with one of your sources, and you're talking in definites or definitives in your other one. So with Romeo and Juliet, a person acts this way, and it causes this to happen. Okay, there's no if there. It happened, so it happened. But then you use, and throughout your article, when you talk about the clowns, you talk about, well, if the cops would have been called, well, if they would have been caught, well, if. I don't want any ifs, okay? I want you to think about those clowns in a different way. Okay, so we're going to refer to this comment here. I think you need to come at the clown article from a different perspective. I think you need to be thinking at it from everyone else's point of view instead of the clowns. Okay, because I think what you need to say and what you mean to say is that, you know, because the clowns weren't thinking about what they were doing, thus the irrational thoughts, because the clowns were not thinking about what they were doing, they weren't thinking about the impact they were having on other people. So think about it from another person's point of view and tie it in there. Okay, let's not work with ifs. Let's work with definitives. The next thing I noticed is you use this phrase here, go by very quickly, a lot. A lot. So both the play and the article display how irrational decisions can make more decisions and choices go by very quickly and change your life. So go by very quickly. I don't know what you mean there. I don't know if you mean they go in quick succession, like decision, 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 decision. I don't know if you're not quite sure what the word irrational means, or I don't know if you're trying to use the word rash. Okay, because irrational means not well thought out. Rash means quickly and without any thought at all. It's a fine line of difference between the two words. But irrational, think about it as there's no common sense there. Okay? There's no common sense there. But a rash decision could be either a good one or a bad one, but it was made quickly and without thought. So, for example, I can make a rash decision if there were an intruder in the school. I can make a rash decision of breaking out the windows in my classroom and having everybody get out and run away to the church. Now, if there's somebody in the school and they really wanted to hurt someone, that doesn't seem like such a bad idea. It's still rash. Okay, it's still quick. It still happened fast. But I didn't think about it. Okay, versus an irrational decision, I hear some commotion in the hallway. Okay, same intruder example. I hear some commotion in the hallway. I stick my head out the door, and lo and behold, there's the trouble. Okay, if I hear something in the hallway, obviously there's something out there that I should probably be trying to get away from. Not going to find out what is. Okay, so think about what word you really want. Think about what you're meaning by this phrase. And lastly, the last thing I'm going to tell you is in your synthesis piece, just the slightest irrational decision made can lead to more, which can change your life. So, how can one irrational decision lead to more? How do people not learn from their mistakes? Do the people even making them think they're making mistakes? Is that what's causing it? What do these people have in common? What are the characteristics of people that make these mistakes? Okay, so there's to be some shared aspect here between the people. So what I'd like you to do is to think about those questions, and maybe, they might send you in places that you don't think are quite related to the text. But I think it's important that you explore them anyways. Okay? Now, all that being said, when you go through your essay, there's not a whole lot here that you really need to change. But the things that I need you to change are very, very important. Okay, they come from your thesis, they come from your topic sentence, and they come from your synthesis piece. Those are the bones of your essay. Once you get the bones set into place, the rest of it will make more sense. Okay, the irrational decisions, the go by quickly, the explaining quotes so that they 100% relate to each other, they'll fall into place. Okay? You've done a really nice job picking quotes. You've done a really nice job writing in a very formal way. I'm proud of you for that. And I just want you to take this to the next level. So if you have any questions for me, you just need to make sure that you ask. Good job, Maddie.